Manchester United fans, buckle up, big updates are coming your way. A Wonderkid gets his shot, Joshua Zirkzee issues an apology, and a £64 million transfer swap could shake things up. Plus, is Man City plotting to steal a top target? And what's the latest twist in the Rooney versus Ruben Amorim drama? Let's break it all down. This is your latest Man United news. Man United news. Wonderkid given hope of more game time as Joshua Zirkzee makes apology. Manchester United are turning their attentions to the Europa League ahead of a trip to Real Sociedad in the last 16 on Thursday after the crushing disappointment of their FA Cup exit to Fulham on Sunday. Manchester United suffered another dip in their roller coaster season under Ruben Amorim on Sunday after exiting the FA Cup on penalties at the hands of Fulham. The Red Devils put in another subpar display at Old Trafford as a superb finish from Bruno Fernandes wasn't enough to put them into the quarterfinals after losing 4-3 in the shootout against Marco Silva's men. Amorim will now be switching his focus to the Europa League as his side prepare for a trip to Real Sociedad on Thursday night, where the Portuguese boss is hoping to avoid another embarrassing performance in a cup competition. With United's season now depending on their success in the Europa League, Mirror Football has rounded up the biggest stories leading up to the game. Onana wants United stay. Manchester United's turbulent campaign has seen a number of poor individual performances, but Andre Onana has been guilty of quite a few this season. The Cameroonian actually put in a solid display against Fulham, making a couple of smart saves from Emile Smith-Rowe. But there were also a few moments of nerves and indecision. He has made 3 errors leading to goals in the Premier League this term and has often come under fire from fans and pundits. And now Amorim is looking to sign another man in between the sticks to bolster the quality of his options, according to men. However, Onana is still intent on staying at Old Trafford, the report says, with the player keen to honor the remaining 3 years left on his £120,000 a week deal. In 65 Premier League appearances, Onana has made 4 errors leading to a goal, conceding 97 times and keeping 16 clean sheets. Amorim knows backup Tom Heaton will likely depart on a free transfer this summer, meaning he will need at least another keeper, while number 2 Altay Bayender could also seek an exit in a bid for more regular game time. The 40-year-old will also need cover later this year when Onana jets off to the Africa Cup of Nations in December. Amorim teases more Obi Martin game time. Despite United's overall poor performance against Fulham, one player who stood out was 17-year-old forward Cheeto Obi Martin. The team's attack was one area that was really lacking, with Rasmus Højlund not covering himself in glory whatsoever. But when Obi was brought into the action, he immediately looked a threat and began. Man United transfer news latest as Man City Ruben Amorim favorite and summer decision made. Latest Manchester United transfer news and gossip includes an update on Andre Onana and Ruben Amorim's former player Francisco Trincao. Manchester United's season hit a new low on Sunday as Ruben Amorim's side were dumped out of the FA Cup in a penalty shootout defeat to Premier League rivals Fulham. United captain Bruno Fernandes ensured the game went to extra time by brilliantly cancelling out Calvin Bassey's header, with the scores ending 1-1 after 120 minutes before Fulham won 4-3 on spot kicks courtesy of 2 Bernd Leno saves from Victor Lindelof and Joshua Zirkzee. It means United's last remaining hope of silverware is the UEFA Europa League, with an away fixture against Real Sociedad due to take place on Thursday. United have struggled all season, with the appointment of Amorim by co-owners Ineos unable to halt the slump. The club will now be pinning hopes on the fact a summer rebuild can help improve fortunes on the pitch. Here, the Manchester Evening News has taken a look at the latest transfer headlines around Old Trafford. Onana makes decision on Man United future. Andre Onana is aiming to stay at Manchester United despite struggles this season, the Manchester Evening News understands. As United could look at bringing in a new goalkeeper in the summer, Onana considers the Reds the only club he wants to play for. The 28-year-old has 87 appearances to date since arriving at Old Trafford from Inter Milan in 2023. However, this hasn't been a plain sailing season for the Cameroon international, having committed a number of errors between the sticks. He made 3 mistakes leading to goals in the Premier League in the defeats to Nottingham Forest, Wolves and Brighton. He was also deemed at fault for both of Ipswich Town's goals last week. Onana sits at 16th for save percentage out of 22 Premier League goalkeepers, and those errors has brought question marks over his future, despite him being under contract until 2028. Besides that, there is uncertainty over number 2 goalie Altay Bayınder's future, should he wish to seek regular game time elsewhere. As Tom Heaton is likely to retire when his contract expires in June, United could sign a new shot stopper at the end of the season. Elsewhere, United and Manchester City have been credited with an interest in Sporting Clube de Portugal winger Francisco Trincao, according to Portuguese newspaper A Bola. Amorim coached the 25-year-old at Sporting for 2 years, while incoming City Sporting director Hugo Viana helped to sign him from Barcelona during his time in Lisbon. The report claims that both clubs rate Trincao highly, but Sporting are keen to keep hold of the Portuguese and plan to offer him a new contract. The former Barca man has played the most minutes this season and is said to have attracted the most attention in Europe. The £64 million signing Manchester United must sacrifice to get a landmark swap transfer deal done. Manchester United could be forced to get rid of one of their strikers to make a swap deal happen. But who should go? For weeks now, stories rolling of the rumor mill have hinted that Manchester United are seeking a sea change up front, with Napoli striker Victor Osimhen at the very top of the club's list as they work to reshape a struggling squad to Ruben Amorim's requirements. But a fresh angle to the story has now emerged from Italy. Transfer website Calciomercato has claimed that United are prepared to sacrifice one of their existing strikers, either Rasmus Højlund, who has struggled over the course of his sophomore campaign, or Joshua Zirkzee, who has failed to hit the ground running since signing from Bologna last summer. There's little doubt that getting hold of Osimhen, who is currently on loan at Galatasaray after a semi-successful attempt to force his way out of Napoli, would represent a coup and give United the high-class goalscorer they've lacked for some years now. But which of their underperforming players would make the most sense to get rid of, and could either come back to haunt United if they do get moved on? Could Joshua Zirkzee still shine at Old Trafford? It's fair to say that 23-year-old Dutchman Zirkzee has not had the impact many at Old Trafford would have hoped since arriving in a deal worth a reported £36.5 million last summer. Having scored 11 goals for Bologna as Thiago Motta's side qualified for the Champions League, Zirkzee has managed just 3 league goals for Manchester United in 27 appearances. It's not exactly been the ideal start. Then again, if United signed Zirkzee as a pure goalscorer in the first place, they were probably misguided. Although he typically occupied the number 9 position for Bologna, his role was more about working the channels and creating space for other forwards than about getting on the end of the final pass, and there's an extent to which he has continued that work with his current club. Although Zirkzee's end product has been limited, his knack for finding space and drawing defenders out of position has remained in evidence, at least occasionally, and while he hasn't created chances in volume, his ability to carry the ball forward and to pick a pass have proved useful at times, even if he hasn't consistently found ways to open defenses up for those around him. There have been flashes, but not too much more. Zirkzee has also been getting into scoring positions just as often as he did with Bologna, and is earning 0.30 xG per game compared to 0.29 xG in Serie A. In other words, he's getting into good areas just as often as he did before. Where he has struggled is with his finishing, undershooting his expected goals and ultimately scoring at a rate of just under 1 goal for every 4 full matches he's played, compared to better than 1 in 3 in Italy. Ruben Amorim's second subtle dig at Wayne Rooney after Man United icons, naive, blast. Ruben Amorim appears to have taken a dig at Wayne Rooney's management career after the Manchester United legend called him naive. After his United side were knocked out of the FA Cup on penalties by Fulham, Amorim said, "The goal is to win the Premier League. I know we are losing games, but the goal is to win the Premier League again. I don't know how long it will take. We have a goal and we continue forward no matter what." However, Rooney took issue with Amorim's comments and told the BBC, "I think it's a little naive to say they're looking to win the Premier League because from where they are now, they're a long way off that. Get further up the table, I think that's the next step for them." Amorim, though, hit back and appeared to aim a subtle jab at his coaching record by pointing out that he is in charge of United while Rooney, who turns 40 this year, is out of work after he was sacked by Championship side Plymouth Argyle in December. When Rooney's comments were put to him, Amorim also referenced his age and said that winning the Premier League is the goal. To be naive is to think we are going to do it this season or be the best contender next season. I know in this moment, everybody knows everything. I was a pundit when I finished my playing career. I know it's really easy. Maybe it is not with me, but our goal as a club is to win the Premier League like we did in the past with all the great glories and legends of this club. We are in a difficult moment, and I'm not naive. That's why I'm here, at 40 years old, coaching Manchester United. The second dig comes after Amorim said, "It's really easy to be critical as a pundit." Reflecting on his side's FA Cup exit, Amorim added, "I think we started quite well with good possession, controlling the game, but we cannot maintain that for all the game. Sometimes we drop the lines to feel more comfortable trying to use the transitions. I think during the game we create the best chances. Sometimes we didn't control the game with the ball. But in the end, with the penalties, it can happen for both sides, and today was not our day. It's always hard because you always have the cups when the league is not going in the right direction, but we need to focus on the big goal, that is improving the team, trying to imagine how we are going to improve the team, not just in this moment, in this season, for the next season. So we have to think not just in the moment, but also in the future.